Hello, everyone. Echemendia here. I am back with globally recognized networking and security analyst Will Townsend to talk about artificial intelligence. But Will, before we start, you are in Austin, Texas, and in a few hours, you are about to experience the Great American Solar Eclipse. What's going on out there right now? Sorry, I had to ask you about this.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. So, today is Solar Eclipse Day in Texas, and we're going to experience totality
Wow.
between noon and 2 p.m. So a complete solar eclipse. We're expecting 1 million visitors to Central Texas. I'm actually in Bastrop, which is east of the totality swath. We will have a partial eclipse here, and so I've got my telescope and my solar filter and all of my glasses ready. But it's fun that we're recording this video, Elise, on the day that we're going to have this totality.
I
It's
know.
not the apocalypse; it's the solar eclipse. So they keep reminding lots of people about that.
Yeah, that's the thing though, that sometimes we forget because of course you and I, everything we do is mainly tech. But then we
Yeah,
realize that this planet, this Earth, has amazing things that don't require any tech. It's all based because of nature, because of how the world was made. And this is a natural event that everyone around the world is actually talking about. But because thanks to digital, everyone can now also see it. We can all tune in on live feeds, which in a few hours
yeah.
I will be also going into, but I wouldn't want to be with all those extra visitors that you have right now. So,
No, and I fly out for another business trip the following day, so I'll be getting at the airport probably at
yeah,
3:30 a.m. and just getting in line. And hey, if I miss my flight, I'll just rebook the next one while I'm standing in a long line at security. So
exactly. Awesomeness, Will. Now then, let's get back to AI because this year, it doesn't matter where we turn, AI is a part of most tech conversations. It is changing the way we think, the way that we work. And although it is helping the big tech giants move forward faster, I mean, we saw it a few weeks ago during Mobile World Congress, it was just like everywhere. But not all enterprises or SMEs are understanding what it means for them yet,
yeah.
because this has brought questions, Will, such as what is the most cost-effective way of using it? Or what about our data privacy? Or as simple as, do I need AI in my business? So, Will,
Yeah.
my first question today, from a business point of view, and this is related, of course, to companies who do need tech to move forward. What do you
Yeah.
think the smaller companies need to focus on first when it comes to AI and how to implement it in their business?
And at least it's a great question. And just to kind of, level set things, AI and machine learning have been around for years, decades. What is new is this notion of generative AI. So natural language interface, you're reducing the friction, making AI more real, not something that sort of floats in the ether and that sort of thing. So, but from a consideration perspective, number one, businesses have to understand what can AI practically do for their operation. So historically, when you look at AI operations, infusing AI into networking and security brings a host of benefits. You can realize more autonomy within network operations. You can implement provisions for self-healing and remediation that guarantee the availability and the resiliency of connectivity. And from a security standpoint, machine learning has been used for many years with respect to algorithms and being able to predict the possibility of breaches and that sort of thing. But again, it's the generative AI aspect that is getting a lot of attention. And really, at the end of the day, businesses have to look at what they do on a daily kind of basis and determine what can AI do to transform the business, because AI for the sake of AI is not going to be practical. I know we're going to get into some of the details with respect to the requirements for infrastructure and that sort of thing. But at a very high level, it's just figuring out, okay, what can be improved through AI, and there are a lot of resources out there.
Absolutely, Will. And I like that you said not doing AI just for the sake of doing AI, because I
Yeah,
think that's extremely important. As we've said in a couple of our other chats, just because something is a trend or tech is here, doesn't mean that it applies to your business. So doing that a step back and having
yeah,
a look first of the business is important, which brings me on to my next question, which is about your thoughts on AI regulation, because
yeah,
now it is pretty lax. We all know this. 2023 was the boom of, hey, here it is, here is AI.
yeah,
But
yeah.
now, 2024, the real questions are here. Do you think 2024 is the year where more countries will have regulations into place, or is it still too early?
No, I don't think it's too early. So we went through sort of that honeymoon phase of generative AI, to your point, last year. We're fully in the throes of it. If you look at, I mean, every company from recently NVIDIA at GTC, we're kind of talking about their AI strategy. Intel, Marvell, all the silicon providers are doing the same thing. You are beginning to see regulation for the responsible use of AI, because there are concerns about AI being used for malicious intent, and we can talk about that a little bit further, I think, during the conversation. But you are seeing regulation in the United States. There have been a number of regulations passed, discussions that are going on about how to responsibly manage AI. And also, what I'm really impressed with is, very, very large companies that I cover from a networking and security perspective are very, very focused on this as well. The responsible use of AI. I mean, Cisco has emerged as an early leader there, putting resources internally in place to ensure that they're developing the right tools so that it is managed responsibly. So 2024 is definitely the year for regulation, and I think you're going to see a lot more come from not only the United States, but the European Union and other parts of the world as well.
Yeah, from my point of view, I think the Middle East is also quite big, like the UAE, similar to the States, are rising to understanding AI. And I think, as
Yeah,
you mentioned, Cisco as well, Will, we need these big leaders to be role models of what
yeah,
regulation means. Because, I mean, again, earlier we're talking about the smaller SMEs. Oh, I don't understand, I don't know.
yeah,
And AI is such a huge thing right now, but if we don't see it from the bigger leaders, because they have more money for R&D, they are in a better place to be able to implement, we
yeah,
definitely need the Ciscos of the world to come now in 2024, not in 2-3 years. Literally put your budgets now. If you're listening to this conversation, please just put in the money into what AI means so that the rest of the world can take lead from what you do. And as also you mentioned, with AI, come the challenges, it comes risks. For me, the biggest fear, I would say, is definitely the wrong people using AI. As you mentioned, we've already seen it, how dangerous it can also be with the increase of fake news, fake
yeah,
celebrity,
yeah,
AI created images and videos. And I feel it's something that I wanted to touch on quickly, because we have already seen it publicly and more from that personal point of view. As I said, oh, fake celebrities, fake pictures, or whatever. But
yeah,
what about business? From my point of view, having the right people creating the AI strategy within a company is going to
yeah,
become a huge thing. I mean, those are my thoughts. It's not like when
yeah.
social media came out and then the interns take over accounts without knowing really what to do. AI, Will, is a new beast. This is completely
Yeah.
different, don't you think, Will?
I do. And when you look at generative AI, and again, what generative AI has done for AI that has existed again for many, many years, is reduce the friction. It's made it easier to use. It's using natural language to do this. And what we're beginning to see from a cybersecurity standpoint is identity as the new hack. And for many years, this was accomplished through email and phishing schemes and spear phishing schemes and that sort of thing. But with AI, and to your point, you touched on deepfake. What can be done with deepfakes? What can be done with more sophisticated social engineering campaigns to be able to extract identity? It's really going to require raising the bar from a security standpoint. And the good news is that many large security companies like Microsoft, like Palo Alto Networks, ZScaler, you name it, these companies are very, very focused on this, and they're deploying Copilot solutions. And Copilot has become sort of a common term for an agent that is a chat GPT resource that you can employ to help sort of safeguard things. So I spent time recently with Microsoft. They launched their Microsoft Copilot for Security solution. And what they're doing, they're kind of doing two things with that. Number one, they're providing a resource internally for analysts so that you can more easily generate incident reports, do triage work, and that sort of thing. They're also defining prompt books, which that's what you use within the natural language queries to extract recommendations from these large language model engines that are trained with huge amounts of data. And then furthermore, using ChatGPT and other resources to improve the efficacy of what you're doing from a security standpoint. So the good news is that that defenders have a resource with generative AI. It is a double-edged sword, though. So, and we know these bad actors, and our friend Ralph, the ethical hacker. I know Ralph's weighed in on this quite a bit. But the exciting thing about generative AI is that it has the potential really to level the playing field and help defenders in this identity fight, because I mean it's getting much more sophisticated with deep fakes and the like.
Oh, absolutely, Will. And yeah, true. By the way, quick shout out to our friend Ralph, aka the
Yeah,
ethical hacker. When it comes to cybersecurity, he's the one we go to for all the questions, because behind the scenes, oh my God, what that guy has done is amazing. But you're right, Will. And this is my call to action for anyone listening, or to the companies. As I said, not just the big ones because they have the budgets. Please do invest into understanding the danger of artificial intelligence. I know we are always very happy about tech, but this is one that is also close to my heart. I see the damage that this can do. I've seen it with friends. I've even had experiences myself. So please make sure the people behind the scenes, your cyber people, understand also about prevention. Because most
yeah,
people, oh, something happens and then you have to see what's happened to deal with it. No, AI right now, and this is why we were talking earlier about regulations, it has to be now, not later.
yeah,
It's 2024. AI is moving way faster than social media ever did when it came out, way
yeah,
faster than when the www dot began. Again, we're moving at the speed of light. So please, please, please take care of this topic. And my last thoughts today, and this is because we both travel a lot, so it's very relevant to what we do, Will. I want to
yeah,
get thoughts on Qatar Airlines, because only a few weeks ago they introduced the world's first AI powered digital human cabin crew. It will assist its passengers in designing curated travel experiences. And according to Qatar, the name is Sama 2.0, because they did have, and they already released the Qverse. So Sama 2.0, the name of the AI cabin crew, is ready to answer questions in real time, such as airline FAQs, destinations, support tips, and it will be accessible through the Qverse, which is the name of the platform that Qatar released last year, as well as through the Qatar Airways app. From my perspective, Will, this is where the future is going. That hybrid
yeah,
way of real humans and digital conversations. As a big airplane traveler yourself, Will, what do you think of this initiative? Do you think we will see this in all airlines in the future, or is this just a gimmick for fun? What is your take?
My take is it's very innovative. It's very forward thinking, and a lot, we're in the sort of the early days, the honeymoon phase of generative AI, but it demonstrates the potential that AI can serve as a personal assistant, right? And as a frequent traveler, whenever, I have a travel delay and I've got to, contact American Airlines, who's my preferred carrier. Oftentimes, there's long, phone call waits, or I don't typically do this because, I can go into a lounge and get some concierge help. But for the average traveler, how many times have you seen those rebooking lines at the airport that are an hour, the queue is an hour longer or more? So having, sort of a personal digital assistant that's powered by generative AI is very forward thinking. I think we're going to see more and more of that as AI matures. And again, we're in the early stages. It shows a lot of promise, but here's what occurs. These AI models, they get smarter with the more data that you train them with. And so over time, these models are going to become more and more accurate. And getting back to your point, it's important now to put the right guardrails around this, because there are concerns. In fact, I recorded a podcast with my firm, a couple of colleagues last week, and one of the topics was, can AI become dangerous? And that's the concern. And putting the necessary guardrails around that to ensure that that does not occur early is really, really important. Because if people wait too long, it could truly become sort of like, something from the Terminator movie. Skynet is aware and things are autonomous, and it starts, trying to defend itself from perceived threats. I will also conclude that there is such a thing called AI hallucination, where AI models can, with the wrong data or bad data, make, decisions or present solutions that are not within the realm of possibility. So, and that requires that very clean data go into these models as well. So there are a host of companies that are focused on this. I will shout out to NVIDIA. They started their AI journey with the GPU. They've kind of built that out to be more of an AI platform, providing software, providing a curated number of large language models that sort of power all of this. And that's where we need to go. And with those companies that are leading the charge, it's so important to have them involved in government regulation, because let's not forget, governments are not as deep in the technology as these technology companies are. That was demonstrated many years ago in the United States during the Facebook inquiries. I don't know if you recall that, Mark Zuckerberg being on Capitol Hill in the United States, and some of the questions that came from our elected officials were actually quite frightening. I mean, they didn't know the basics about the internet. So we absolutely have to have technology companies involved in this. And it's a joint effort between private and public sector to make sure that AI is safe. And I think we're on the right track.
Oh, absolutely, Will. And this is actually what I think will bring the tech community much closer, because it is no longer, again, thanks to digital AI and the way we can have these conversations, it's no longer just the big players that can make moves. It is us also as consumers, as independent analysts, that we jump on calls and we tell it as it is. And this is
Yeah.
what we're going to be doing also this year. Pick up on what's happening on this AI world, whether it's generative AI, maybe another solar eclipse, I don't know, in another part of the world. But we're going to bring you tech to real worlds, to the real space, because we do understand that the big giants, sometimes they cannot say everything they want, but we can,
Yeah.
and we will.
Yeah.
So be careful with what you do. because we will
Yeah.
explore what you're doing. So again, Will, thank you so much for your time. Guys, there you have it, a cool chat on where AI is heading. Make sure you follow Will and myself for more insights in the tech industry. I'm Elise Quevedo. Until next time. Thank you, Will.
Thanks, Elise.